Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my final review for Season 2 of Under the Dome, the Season 2 finale, Season 2 Episode 13, which is called Go Now. Alright, and as always, my reviews do contain spoilers, so if you guys have not seen the finale yet, you may or may not want to watch this review. So that said, pretty satisfied with how the finale actually turned out, because, I mean, Season 2 was so up and down. It was so kind of back and forth at points. I even wondered if the show was going to continue. I didn't know where they were going with it. I still don't really know where they're going with it. I can't really see the vision of how they're thinking of this. But from an interview I was reading, potentially the producer or whoever, Bear, I forget exactly what he does, but he had said that 3 to 5 seasons is what they're thinking they can get out of the series. And, you know, the original book was just like one book. You'd think like one season would make sense. And at first I believed it was kind of like a mini-series, but I guess it was so popular and it's doing so well, they decided they're going to turn it into, you know, a long-running show. So that said, the ratings did peak back up when the end of Season 2 kind of came in. So that's a good sign. That's a good thing to see, and it is still getting over 7 million views per episode. So for a summertime show, that is pretty damn good for a scripted show, not like a reality show or something like that. So that said, what do we think? I mean, season 3, is it going to get renewed? Is it going to get canceled? We don't know. I've talked about it for a few reviews now. You guys know, but it's an important part. I can't avoid it in each review I do because we don't know. It affects the show as a whole. Now that said, if this is the final episode of Under the Dome, I will be a little bit disappointed because the way they played through the episode, the way the episode ended up at the end was such a huge cliffhanger. It's not even like a finale. It's like a great episode that we don't get another one after, like a regular episode of the season, because nothing is closed off. You know, there are no doors that are shut. It's a total cliffhanger, just like the first season where we're left kind of guessing, okay, what's going to happen next? Are we even going to have a next? I hope so, because if this is the final episode of the series, it kind of destroys the series as a whole. Would you want to buy the series on Blu-ray or DVD if this was the last episode? Like if this was the last part we saw and we have no idea what happens next? So they kind of set it up as if it's like they have to go on with the show for Season 3 at least. And if they're going to wrap it up in Season 3, then they got to wrap it up in Season 3. But we got to get at least, you know, this can't be the last episode. It just can't. It's too much of a cliffhanger. So many things happened. There were so many changes in terms of the characters and in terms of even just who's surviving. I mean, let's look at the finale. We had, Jim's neighbor, that lady who was killed off, Andrea, or was her name, or something like that. Yeah, I think so. Of course, Rebecca, who was a mainstay character in the second season, not in the first season, but second season. She's been one of the main characters all the way through. Pauline, I really liked how they handled Pauline because they kind of went back and forth. Last episode, we thought she was dead for sure. This episode, at the beginning, we had the idea that maybe she could make it. Maybe she could survive this. And then they did a nice reversal on us where it went from we thought she was dead for sure last episode. This episode, oh, maybe she'll survive. She's still talking, whatever, saline or whatever. Who knows? Maybe she'll make it. She can fight through it. And then, boom, back the other way. And no, as a matter of fact, she will not. She will not actually survive, and she does die at the hands of Rebecca, who performs basically, does her last bidding, her last wish, so to speak. The whole, Dr. Kevorkian type deal, I guess, and lets her out. So with the morphine. So. I was really shocked by what happened. After that, of course, you could kind of see it coming, but I didn't think they were going to go for it. It was kind of like one of those where it's like, I can kind of see what's happening here, but I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it. They're not going to have him do it. Oh, man, he just hit her with the hammer. Oh, man, that's brutal. So Big Jim goes full on, like, just demon Jim, and the Dome does not negotiate. You cannot negotiate with the Dome. The Dome does what the Dome wants, Jim. And regardless of whatever your threats may be, or if you go psycho, or you just go, I don't know, shining, possession, whatever, and just start killing everybody, it doesn't matter. The Dome is not going to bargain with you. It's not going to negotiate with you. So as we see, we continue. He racks up 2 kills, on people that were part of the town, people that he had cared about. At one time, I even thought maybe Rebecca would be some kind of romantic interest for him. Near the start of the season 2, I thought that's where they were going with it, and then they went the other way. As far the other way as you could go at this point, and they just turned Big Jim into this badass, scary, psycho killer villain. To the point where even Junior shoots him. But at first, now, again, that was exciting too, because at first it seemed like he shot him in the heart, but as we could see later, it was actually in the shoulder. It was beside the heart, because obviously he's not dead yet, so it must have missed his heart, I guess we can say. So, wow, really exciting. Then, of course, to add into all of that craziness and things that are happening, Julia almost dies. Really exciting scene. She gets away. And at that point, I didn't feel safe, like, oh yeah, she's going to make it. With her, I was kind of like, is Big Jim going to get her? Is he not? What's going to happen? Is Junior going to shoot his dad? There was just some really exciting stuff in this episode that really got me, man. It really was like season finale, very exciting, disturbing sometimes, especially with the hammer, from Jim's point of view. And, because I like Jim as a character, I prefer, a happy-go-lucky regular Jim versus, psycho serial killer with a hammer Jim. So that said, all that stuff was really exciting, and wow, season finale-ish. To add to that, we of course have the characters that are trying to leave the dome through this new hole that was created through Melanie, and at the end we essentially have the meetup where we see Melanie in this light or whatever, and we don't really know what's going to happen with that. So that's the biggest cliffhanger part. Well, the fact that they're there, is she gonna lead them through? Are they all gonna get out? What about the others that are stuck? You of course have Jim, who's stuck there, who may or may not die from the wound anyway. We don't know. I assume he'll probably survive because he's a damn good villain. And Dean Norris is like, your main actor in the series. I want to say he's like your most high-profile actor in the series after Breaking Bad. I can say that. I can say that, right? Most high-profile. No offense to anyone else who's acting in the show. There's a lot of great actors and actresses in the show, but he's the most high-profile. So to see him stay makes sense. To see him survive makes sense. Junior's stuck back, and then you have Julia, who's on the other side of the now section that's been broken down too far to be able to jump over, unless they could lay down some trees or something and get over. That could make sense if they could, because there's all those trees that fell down. If they had time, if they're able to kill Big Jim or stop him, maybe Junior and Julia could grab maybe 4 or 5 trees, lay them down over, and then crawl across or something like that. Spread out their body weight, use some good, just be really careful and get across, as long as the whole thing doesn't earthquake and shake while they're doing it. Maybe that makes sense for how they'll get through. Or, at this point, how can I make predictions for this? If you guys do want to see a prediction video for Season 3, if it gets renewed, please write in the comments below, and I'll take it into consideration. Maybe I'll do it and do some predictions on what I think is going to happen next with the characters, who's going to survive, and what do I think is going to happen with just where this cliffhanger has left us off at this point. So that's it. I thought it was a pretty incredible finale. I thought it was better than most of Season 2. I feel like maybe they should have even spaced out these incidents a little bit so that it wasn't. This was a packed couple episodes of the finale that really were huge, and I think maybe they could have kind of spaced them down a bit, had some of the events occur earlier, in the season to kind of make it more exciting, because there was a little bit of a lull there, I felt like, after the midway point, where we had a few episodes that were like, they're okay, but Under the Dome, it's one thing I can say is when it's on, and this was a fantastic finale. So in terms of a score, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. That's really high for Under the Dome, but man, so exciting, and just didn't know where they were going with it. It was very season finale-esque. I'll say that, season finale-esque, and in Under the Dome fashion, just like season 1, ended on a huge cliffhanger. So let me know what you guys think about that. Some people hate cliffhangers, so I can understand if you're like, I hated this finale. What are you talking about, Trevor? It's probably because you didn't like the fact it was a cliffhanger. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of cliffhangers either, because it just kills you wanting to know what happens next. So if it does get renewed, we'll get to see it again next summer, and I'll at least review the premiere. I can absolutely commit to at least reviewing the premiere of the series should it get renewed for you guys. I don't know if I'll continue on past that, because again, the show is so back and forth and all over the place. I really like this survival horror slant, though, that we get in there. That's my thing. I really love, as you can see, I really love survival horror stories. I find them very exciting. That uncertainty of not knowing who's gonna survive, who's not. Put people in those types of situations, see what happens to them. Good stuff. Oh, great acting, by the way, by Dean Norris in this episode. Man, he killed it, especially the looking up and everything and all that, talking to himself. Guy's an incredible actor. All the faces he does. The face like that. The son of a bitch, you lied to me, to Walter White in the garage in Breaking Bad. And he did in this season too. He had the face, Pauline. He just has the face. Sees Barbie outside of the dome with Julia, like that type of thing. So anyway. Enough of me saying how much I love Dean Norris. You guys know by this point. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all that, what you thought of the finale. Write it in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, you want to see my Season 3 reviews when we get there next summer, feel free to subscribe now. I review lots of awesome shows. And if you have any video suggestions for Under the Dome or anything else, please send them to me in a private message through YouTube. Please like the video if you guys want to help support the channel. Please share it. Please favorite it. And that's it for my Season 2 UDT reviews. Yeah, the UDT finale. As always, Trev, saying peace, guys.